In the next few minutes, you're going to discover some of the basic information that are needed by every scout to succeed in their scouting journey. Hey, ScouterStan, let's talk a little bit about the Guide to Advancement. Yes, that is the document that determines all of advancement within a pack, a troop, a crew, and a ship. So it's all in that one resource. The resource is critical to the success of any scout that wants to move forward in their scouting journey. Now, as an advancement person, I want to make sure that you understand that advancements does change over time. It evolves just like everything else in scouting. So you have to get the latest information. Make sure that you go to the website. I'm going to put a link down below in the description of this video, and it's going to get you to the current PDF, the electronic copy, that you can put on your phone or on your computer, your tablet, what have you. You can have this available. It is an amazing resource on all the things doing with scouting. So check out those links that are in the description below. Once you have this, read through the entire thing. Even if you're in a troop, read the Cub Scout stuff too. You need to know where these scouts that are coming to your troop, what advancement they've done. So it is important that you read the whole thing and go through it once, especially if you're in the advancement team of your unit. You want to make sure that you are aware of where this resource is. Take it over a period of time, but reading it is critical. You don't have to commit it to memory. Just know that you read something about that, and that's the resource to go back to check in on that subject as they come up. That's the critical part. You need an overview. You need to look at all of the things that are going on in advancement. It does change. So a printed one from 10, 15 years ago is not current to what is today. And it's very important that that is kept up to date. And getting an electronic one will be a little easier to keep up to date. Now, in the advancement principles, there are 4 basic steps: learning, testing, reviewing, and recognition. Those are the 4 big steps in the principle of advancement. In the learning section, it's important that the scout has an opportunity to kind of experience what is being taught. If it's knot tying or a safety issue, something that's being taught, it's important that they have that opportunity. Using an edge method with the scout is important. And if you'd like more information about edge, check out the video. That is a great one about the edge process. Testing is where the scout is actually given the opportunity to do it on their own, to actually do the skill or be able to explain what the practice is. That is something they need to do on their own. That is really the testing part. Reviewing. This is very important. After the testing and it's signed off, there is a review. From a troop standpoint, it would be the Scoutmaster. Scoutmasters review with the scout in a Scoutmasters conference, sitting there talking with the scout about what they've learned. Finding out from them, did they learn the material and can they use that material? That's the important part of that. Finally, in the review, you have the board of review. And that's not with the Scoutmaster. That's the next step. And it's to make sure that the scout is getting the scouting program and it's starting to stick all of the stuff that's coming through in scout skills and as they're getting leadership skills. So that is very important that that board of review actually occurs. We did a board of review video. check it out. So when you get a chance. Finally, you have recognition. Once they've gone through the other steps, recognition for what they have learned is critical to them retaining it. There needs to be a reward, and that is so important, especially if you're dealing with Cub Scouts and troop. Crew and a ship, those come along, but everyone wants to be recognized for learning a new skill or achieving a new rank or getting a new merit badge. Those are critical things. Recognition needs to happen at least as a unit, at least 4 times a year. So it's kind of hard to schedule that in, but it is important that it's done as soon as possible. Rank advancement is important, and it's specific to the division that they're in, whether the unit is a pack, a troop, a crew, a ship. It depends on what rank they are going for. Now in Cub Scouts, it is a year-long process to the next rank, and it all starts from Bobcat. Every rank now has a Bobcat component. That is, it starts that way, and it's been streamlined recently. So the guide to advancement depends on the issue you get. May not have that in it, but it is brand new, and the process from getting your Bobcat, moving on through your rank, and it's all grade level, so it's a little bit different than the other 3 divisions that we'll talk about. Now in Scouts BSA, those troops, typically when the scout enters, they all begin at the same level. So it's not grade divided off. So you may have some real young Cub Scouts coming over, and you might have some from a recruitment, you might have some 15-year-olds that are joining. So they all start at the same rank, and then they move forward. Typically, the very first rank is usually achieved within the first year. So you want to make sure that happens as soon as possible. Usually Scout is where it starts, and it moves up through the ranks. All of the ranks up to first class are all Scout skills, and they are individuals. It's not to say that they cannot earn merit badges. They can, but it's more important that they get to the first class with all the Scout skills completed. That's kind of how that works. Now with Venturing Crew and Sea Scouts, you have your own procedures, your own schedules, but the process for advancement is about the same. If you're with a Venturing Crew, it's a lot of times there's a dual membership of the Scout. They're in a Scouts BSA troop. That's their primary, and then the secondary could be the crew. So, and it could be the direction, but there needs to be that scouting thing because they have to get to first class. Once you get to first class, then all your advancement can be in your crew as a scout, but that dual membership is all defined within the guide of advancement. Hey, before we go any further, I want to make sure that you are invited to come to the live meeting. The live meeting is on the first Sunday of each month at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. So please join us. Now, you're going to have to adjust for whatever time zone you're in, but please join us and join in. That's a great way to ask questions, and I'm there to answer them. Also, I want to personally thank all of the patrons on Patreon for their continued financial support. Also, if you would like to become a channel member right here on YouTube, hit the join button and go through that process. It's a great way to help fund what you see here. If you don't want to do a monthly donation, that's fine. We have a thank you button. Just hit the thank you button and make a one-time donation. That is always appreciated. And let's get right back to it. there is an entire section about merit badges. Merit badges are critical to scouts from first class on. They're critical for advancement. That's not to say that if you're not first class, you can't do a merit badge. Youth can do merit badges at any time, and that's the neat thing about the merit badge process. What's interesting is that the guide actually defines all of the particulars for every single merit badge for the counselor. So this is from a counselor standpoint what they're required to do. And it's very important that your merit badge counselors are following the guide to advancement. Following those steps that are defined within the guide. That is critical for the scouters to help that scout. It's very critical for them to really go by it word for word. If it says explain, that's exactly what you need to do. Explain. If it says show to your counselor, show to the counselor. Word for word. They cannot alter anything from merit badges. And knowing that and seeing that in the guide, and everything in the guide has a number. So the number can actually be quoted. That's number 8.5.0.4. It is an actual process. It's a procedure. It's not a guide, like some people want to. It's not. It's the rules. It's the process. It's the procedure for advancement, and it needs to be held in its entirety. Now, if you've been in scouting for a while, you know that there's two kinds of merit badges. There's Eagle required merit badges, and then you also have all the others. The way you could tell them apart is that the Eagle required merit badges have a white border around the edge. And of course the others all have green. This has been the case since I was a scout. So there are requirements in order to do Eagle, if that's their goal, they have to get those merit badges. Now some of those can be alternates. They could be swimming or cycling. There's different ones that you can choose, but some you have to have, like cooking. That is a required merit badge for Eagle. Now within the guide there's any type of special consideration. Any of that is defined in the guide. So if you have a scout with special needs, the guide is critical. You have to go by that process that's spelled out in the guide to advancement. In the guide to advancement, there's also the process to get an extension. So if you have a timeline where the scout is running out of time, say they're turning 18 in 10 weeks, this is something that's spelled out what you need to do in the guide to advancement. It tells you how you can get an extension. This is something that is handled through that procedure, that policy. And within that guide, there is a way to dispute a board review or a problem with a merit badge, or it's all spelled out how that process works. It's important that scout leaders know that there is something out there that tells them the policy, the procedure of what to do. This is very important, especially with parents. Some parents, you can tell them 100 times, but if you show them the actual document, that might help explain the process. Always keep in mind that the guide to advancement is there to help scouters, and parents. Nothing in scouting is a secret. So this information can be given to every single adult, every scout. They should all have the guide to advancement. It's there. It is the policies, it's the procedures of how advancement actually works. And if you have a problem or need an extension or you need a special case, that's handled in the guide. So having that information is key. It's critical to helping them achieve. It's just as important as the requirements for a merit badge. Those requirements are just as important, but the Guide of Advancement tells you how that process works. It's good for the scout leaders. It's good for merit badge counselors. It is one of those documents that is an absolute. It's like you have your scout handbook, and then you have your Guide to Advancement, and then any of the merit badge books. So, that's how important it is. It is that critical. And so many adult leaders, so many youth don't know that. It's all spelled out there. That is a critical thing. And if you're in the advancement team, thank you so much. Thank you. This is a critical document. You're going to have to read it at least once from cover to cover, okay? Read the whole thing, and that way you're familiar with what the process is. And then if you need to go back to it, you can find that information. It's not like War and Peace, okay? It's not a mile thick book, okay? It is a very simple, very well written document, okay? So definitely read through it. Highly recommend it. It will improve your scouting, your scout unit. Things will go so much smoother if you just read the instructions. It's basically, that's what it is. It is amazing, okay? So definitely take advantage of the Guide to Advancement. So important. It's one of those critical documents. Once you get into scouting and start doing things, that is a very important document. The next one, of course, is Guide to Safe Scouting. So those are basically about equal in my opinion, but I think safety is probably first. But then you have all the other stuff. So, but definitely look into it. Those are two of the big documents, and Guide to Advancement is so important, and it is incredible what we do, isn't it? I just think it's great. We're helping scouts succeed and be better citizens for a better tomorrow. So keep up that good, hard work. We are doing fantastic work. And with that, we're going to kind of wrap this season 10, 24 shows. If you would like more information about all the videos we have on our channel, please go through the catalog, okay? There's going to be a little bit of downtime, so you're going to see some specials coming out every week. That's always fun. And definitely get into it. Now, if you'd like more information about some of the leadership skills and stuff, I'm going to put a playlist up there. So definitely go through that. There might be something in there that you missed. So a lot of the videos are evergreen. Until next time, I'll see you on the trail.